everyone, welcome back to another video, and in this video I'm going to show you how to use the sticky elements. So let me show you some example. You can see the sticky element is a most popular features of animation add-ons, and this feature is used all of the modern website. Let me show you some example. You can see this is a example, this is another example, this is another example. So you can create nice and cool scrolling effect using the sticky elements. So let me show you how you can create this. So let's get started. So first of all, from your WordPress dashboard, click on animation add-ons and thus make sure that you have purchased the pro versions, because this features is only available in pro versions. So from dashboard, just click on the extension and make sure you have enabled the sticky pin element. So I have enabled this, and then you can go to any page where actually you want to implement the sticky feature. So I want to implement the sticky feature in this page. Let's click on edit with Elementor. So now you can see that the page is loaded, and I'm going to implement the sticky extension on these sections. So let me tell you that where actually you can find the sticky feature. Sticky feature is available for all the container. For example, you can say service is a container, and if I select the service container and click on advanced tab, and then you can see the sticky element. If I click the content, I mean the pin content, this is another container, and if I click on the advanced tab, and then I can see the pin element. So but if I select the title or any text, I cannot find this pin element. Okay, now you can see that I'm going to make actually this example. So I'm going to show you how I made this sections as a pin. So you can see this is the pin content that we are going to make it pin or sticky. So I have just select this, and I'm going to click on advanced tab, and I'm gonna enable the sticky element. So keep in mind that if I want to make this section sticky, I need to select these sections and I need to enable it from here. But as I want to pin this section, so I select these sections from here and then I enable it. Now you can see that the pin trigger. So what is pin trigger? As you know that the pin element is a feature of GSAP. So in GSAP, the pin trigger is the scroll reference point that tells the scroll trigger when to start and stop pinning an element. So let me tell you more clearly. You can see that this is a pin trigger and this is an in trigger. So the pin trigger tells when to start, and the in trigger tells when to stop pinning an element. So here is a pin trigger, here is in trigger, and this is a pin. So if I select this default, then the pin content is going to be the pin trigger. If I want to select a custom trigger, I can add that here, but I'm going to select this default because I want the pin content will be the pin trigger. Okay, now the in trigger. In trigger means when I want to stop pinning these sections. So if I see the example, you can see that this is the pin, and you can see that this entire sections come to the bottom. That time it's stop the pinning. So I want to select the feature area is an in trigger. So I'm going to select this, and I'm going to add a new class. I'm going to name it as an in trigger, or I can write as a pin wrap, and then I'm going back to the pin trigger and stick element again, and in trigger I'm going to select it as a custom, and then I'm gonna paste it. So now I have selected the pin trigger is the pin content, and the in trigger is the entire sections. Why I select the entire sections, I will tell you later. Okay, now you can see that the pin true. So when I select the pin as a true, the pin trigger is going to be the pin. So here I have selected the pin true. It means that the pin content will be pinned. If I want to pin any custom sections, I can select that and add the class here. For example, I want to pin this section, so I can name it as a class and keep the class name here. But what we want here is I want to keep this section pinned, so I'm going to make it just true. Let me tell you again clear. So pin trigger is defined that when the element will be pinned, and in trigger is defined when the pin will be end. And the pin true, or the pin is defined that which element or which content or which container is going to be pinned. I hope you clear. And now you can see that the pin is start. So pin is start, it means that when the trigger actives. So if I select, so pin trigger is related to the pin trigger, the pin start is related to the pin trigger, and pin end, it's defined that when the trigger deactivates, and the pin end is related to the or connected to the end trigger. So here the pin start, I select top. What does this means? You can see the first value is the element position and the second value is the display position. So the first value means the first top, second value is the second top. So the first value is element positions. It means that the top edge of this container, and the second top means the display, top of the display. So top means when the top edge of the pin content container will touch the top of the display. So if I select here is a top center, it means the top edge of the pin content when touch the center of the display. And if I select it like center, it means that the center of the pin content will touch the center of the display. I'll show you the example. So let me make it publish, and I'm going to select it top, and I'm going to select the publish. Let me show you, here is the main page, and I'm going to reload this. Yes. So now you can see that this is the top edge of this sections, and when it touch, and that time it's pin. And let me see when the pin ends. You can see that when the bottom of the entire section touch of the bottom, that time the pin going up, the pin section is going up. So what does this mean? So you can see that I have select the pin start top. It means that, as I told you, the top edge of this pin content. And if I select it as a top center, now you can see, okay, now let me tell you the two other fields. The pin spacing is the extra space that GSAP add in the layout when an element is pinned. So when you scroll, the page doesn't jump while scrolling, but in that case you don't need to add any pin space. You can add true, then it will add some space automatically. But if you want to add any custom space, you can select the custom and you can add the value here. But I'm gonna make it just true because you don't need an extra space here. And the pin marker, this is really an interesting thing. So markers visually show where a scroll trigger starts and ends on the screen for debugging purpose. So let me make it true, and you can see that I have just selected at the top center. Now I'm going to publish, and I'm going to reload the page. Okay, publish done. Reload the page. So you can see that the scroll trigger come here. This is come here because of the I made the markers true. So now you can see that start. When they start, touch the scroll start, then this section is spin, and you can see that this is the top center. Top center means the top of the pin element touches the center of the display. On that time, this section is going to be pin. Now if I select this as a center, and then I'm going to click on the publish, and I want to see the marker as well. I'm going to reload it. You can see that. So now when it will be pinned, let me show you. You can see that it is not pinned yet. This is the center of this sections. I'm scroll up, and then you can see this is the pin now. So I hope you understand what I mean. Also, we have the top, center, top, bottom, center, top, all of the required. But if I want to pin this just at the 200 pixels from the top, then how we can do that? We can do that by setting the custom value. So this is called the absolute value, but just keep in mind that when you are adding the absolute value, what I want, so I want that the top edge of this sections, so top edge this sections means I need to write top. This top means the first value is an element position, so it means this the pin content positions, and the second position is the display position. So 200 pixels from the top, so top plus equal 200 pixels. So it will be pinned now 200 pixels top from the display. So let me show you, let me see the example. I'm going to reload this page. Okay, it's published now. Let me reload this page again, and you can see that this is the 200 pixels from top. Now going start, yes, now you can see that this is the 200 pixels from the top. But if I want to like this time like 100 pixels when it will go to inside in the top, then we can use the 200 pixels or maybe 100 pixel as a negative value, then it will work. But just keep in mind that you don't use any spacing here, just use this value that I have used here. Okay, I'm going to publish, and then I'm going to reload this again. Now when this will pin, it will pin when this pin content go inside 100 pixels. You can see that it's pin when the 100 pixel is going inside. So this is how you can create the start trigger. Okay, I'm going to select this top maybe plus 100 pixels. Now let's come to the bottom. So as I told you, the pin end is related to the in trigger. So in trigger is the pin wrapper. Which one is the pin wrapper? The feature area. The entire area is the pin wrapper. So you can see what I select here is the bottom. So what does this means? When the same thing, the first value is the element positions and the second value is the display position. So first value is the bottom. Here I select the bottom. So the first value is the bottom edge of the feature area, and the second value or the second bottom edge the bottom of this display. So what does this means? The bottom edge of the featured area, when touch the bottom of this display, that time it will be the pin in triggered will be activated, and these sections will go up with a scroll. So let me select this as a center bottom. Center bottom means center of the feature area. When touch the bottom of this edge, that time this will be go up. Okay, let me publish. Now let me reload. Going up, scroll start at the 100 pixels from the top. Okay, now it's pin. Now and maybe what I have selected bottom, I'm sorry, bottom center. So bottom of this page will come to the center of the display. Okay, let me reload again. So now you can see that the 100 pixels from the top, and this is still pinned. The section is in, but it is still pinned because we want, what we select here is the bottom center. So bottom of the sections will come or touch at the center of the screen. That time it will be the in trigger will be triggered. You can see that. So I hope you understand. You can also use the custom value here in the same way like this one. So yeah, this is how you can actually create these sections. Now let me show you how we can make the header as a sticky. So to do that, you need to select the header. You need to click on the edit with the header. Edit header with the Elementor. Now you can see this is our header. So I have select the header, and then I'm going to click on advanced, and then as I want the header will be pinned, that's why I'm going to select the header and enable the stick element. Okay, and then I'm going to pin trigger is default, but in trigger, when I want the in trigger, actually the in trigger will be body, because I want to keep the header sticky until the page touch the bottom of the page. So I just select the body, pin true. I don't need to pin start top. So the header, when the top edge of this header will touch the top of the display, that time it will be pinned, and the bottom, when the body of this page will touch the bottom of this page, that time it will be pinned. So I'm going to click on the publish, and let me see what happened. Now you can see this is now pinned. Also we have some other sections to make this as a different color. You can see the active style, so I can add a new class here if we need it. Also we can select the background color. So for now I'm going to select a new color, like which color I can select, I'm not sure. For example, this color. This is just a testing purpose, so I'm going to select this color, and I'm going to reload this page again. And now, yes, now you can see this is pin and with a different color. Now you can see that there is maybe some space at the top. What we can do here, we can go to the content sections, and we can just pin start as a top minus equal maybe 2 pixels, not pixels, we just need 2. And I'm going to click publish, reload. Now you can see that this is when so yeah, this is how you can use the stick element and the pin element. I think you'll love this. This is really a cool feature and you can use it. In the next video I will show you how to use some other sections make it sticky. Till now, thank you so much for using animation add-ons.